You know what? Windows Phone's growing. It's getting quite a bit of support from a lot of people, and Nokia is joining the fray now with the Lumia 710 in the US. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and this is coming to T-Mobile, but it's coming just before CES. So the question is this the device to get? Should you hold off for some of the Windows Phone devices that are probably going to be announced even by Nokia at CES? We're going to find out in the review and get some more in-depth insight as to whether this is the device to get on T-Mobile in the full review. But first, some love to Best Buy Mobile. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, they'll help you set up your email, your web, your phone settings, and more. So when you walk out that door, you're working. It's walkout working, and it's only available at Best Buy Mobile. So can this 1.4 gigahertz little mid-range device compete? On to part two, let's take a look at some of the core applications on this device. So let's go into the phone application and take a look here. It shows I have one voicemail. You can see down here dial pad, contacts, and search. And again, if you're looking at those and you're like, I'm not quite sure what they mean, or this, the kind of picture looks odd, you can click the three dots and it brings up the additional settings menu, which shows below voicemail, keypad, people, and search. So I can come over here to the keypad, nice big keypad with some nice animations. For example, when I hit 5, you can see that the button actually wobbles depending on which angle I press it at. And of course my network ID and my signal strength. So this is one place where the signal strength indicator does come into play. So if you watch part 1 or you watch any of my Windows Phone reviews, you know it frustrates me that the indicator goes away when you go back to the home screen. So does the battery life indicator, and then of course the data speed indicator as well. So you don't get that unless you're in history here. And then even that goes away when you, in just a few seconds, and you see it's left with the signal strength indicator. So I can hit this and call, and just to show you what the call screen looks like, you've got speaker, mute, hold, add call, and then of course your keypad you can easily access right there. And then that's going to shift over into my call history, with the ability to tap on it, and I can see the history with that number, and I can go back. So let's take a look at contacts as well, because there's a lot of great integration that goes on in here. So you can see my Twitter account over here synced up with what's new, so you can see for example, me, my most recent tweet, and then you can see some people I have in here as samples. So let's go to Joe Brown, for example. Actually, let's go to Rick James, for example. And one little feature I like before we go into that, take a look at this. I have Joe, and then I have Rick. I don't have anybody else, so you can see it's pretty cool. It shows J and then R highlighted, so I can easily skip to that letter if I want to, which is kind of a nice touch, because you can be like, well, I don't have any Z's in there, I don't have any A's in there. Maybe I should get some friends with A or Z names. I mean, that's at least the thing that comes in my mind. So you can see Rick James here, Windows Live, like if it were Google Contact, it would say Google or Twitter, but here it says Windows Live. Call, mobile, text, send an email, and you can see I have all this fake information in here. But it's a nice, clean look with a company name, job title, and more, and I can see my history of when I called Rick James or when Rick James called me, because he is Rick James, so he should call me quite a bit. So down here you can see pin to the start, so if I wanted to pin Rick James, down here, because we talk a lot, it would pin, and if I had a picture set for Rick James, it would show up right there, and I can easily access the contact and then just call, and I'm good to go. So a lot of neat, very fluid features in this operating system. And then of course you can come over here, and Bing is pre-installed all throughout this device. You get Bing Maps, Bing Search, of course, since it's a Microsoft product, and you're going to see that picture update in just a second with creepy looking praying mantis apparently. Serve up some of these creepy koala recipes. And then down here, there's one thing freakier than a single mantis. It's a whole screen of them. And you can see it's a green leaf mantis. So I can come down here and search the web pretty easily. And then I can search by vision, by voice, and I can search music as well, and then go into the individual settings of Bing. So it's nice. You got that shortcut right there. And then you have Bing Maps as well. But Bing Maps is pretty good. It's decent, but it doesn't hold a candle, in my opinion, to Nokia Maps, which you can download in the Windows Marketplace, which we'll check out in just a second. So here we are in Charlotte in the Uptown area, and I really like the way it groups these neighborhoods. You can see, of course, first ward, second ward, third, and then over here, fourth ward, all grouped nicely by color. And then you can see as you get down through here, Dilworth, you can see all the different neighborhoods if you're familiar with this area. A bunch of different neighborhoods, of course, Elizabeth over by the college. And more. So it's kind of, to me that's pretty neat that it shows all the different neighborhoods, and that Nokia's is pretty fleshed out and well done. They have quite a bit of history in the navigation department, and they've really done well over the years with that. So I can come over here and see my map options. I can check my satellite. I can check public transportation, and I can come over here and search and see places, and then settings as well. Now let me see if it does it. When I zoom in, it should bring up the buildings, if I remember right. So we'll do that. We'll come over here to like North Tryon, where the Hearst Tower is, in Bank of America. It should bring these up. There's Hearst. Let's see if we can get that to display. Get it zoomed in here. There is a way. Let's see, places maybe? Let's try this. And then, of course, this brings up popular places, which I do think is pretty cool. You can bring up some places to eat. Holiday Inn Charlotte Center City, because that's where the party's at, yo. And then you can come over here and see popular places within the area, which apparently there aren't any over here. Let's see. Well, it's apparently Holiday Inn is the popular place to be if you live or work in the First Ward. So that's something to keep in mind. But Nokia Maps, pretty fleshed out, nicely done. Popular stuff down here. I can see Explore, I can eat and drink and find accommodations pretty easily. So it's just a well laid out system, and you can see how the fonts kind of roll off the screen. That's a Windows Phone thing. And in my opinion, it looks pretty good. So let's take a look at camera. 5-megapixel camera here with 720p HD video recording, and we'll come in here and have a look just roughly, get some rough images, a rough idea of the camera, and then you do get the physical camera button up top. So half press. Actually, just kidding, no half press there. And we'll take a picture of Galaxy Nexus, for example. Bring in some competition here. And there is, looks like no half press. You do not get, yeah, so you have to actually press the screen to focus in, and then when you're ready. Okay, so no actual autofocus. There's no half press, no focus of any kind. It's all a one-stop shop here. Either you press the screen and it focuses on its own and takes the picture, or you come up here and it does it itself. So we're going to see. Let's try this again. Let's see what it does here. Okay, shift it out. Let's see if we can get it to focus back in. I want to try and bring it off kilter here. Let's see. So we get to focus in. I don't know, I can't tell if I'm pressing the button or not, as weird as that sounds. Let me put my hand away from the button. Excuse me. And let's go back to Samsung here. Let's find something out of focus. Let's see. So it looks like maybe there is, I take that back, maybe there's a little bit of a press to the camera button. Yeah, just a tiny bit of the press will focus it in, then you can take the picture. So I stand corrected. It's a very tricky button to press because it doesn't really push down that far. I mean, I'm just touching the button right now, not even pushing it in as far as I can tell. And that's a little bit of a tricky button. But like any Windows Phone, you can easily switch back and forth between your live camera application and then of course your gallery. And when you're in the settings, you can see contrast, saturation, focus mode, resolution, and more. And then of course the ability to turn flash on and off. Easy to switch over to the video camera as well, and you can come over here and see resolution in 720p. So quick and easy there, and that's a nice feature again for a mid-range device to have 720p HD video recording. That's pretty impressive. Let's take a look at the marketplace, Windows Phone Marketplace. Not only do you get Nokia collection up here for specific Nokia applications that are either recommended by Nokia or in this case made by Nokia, so app highlights, TuneIn Radio, WRC Live, Nokia Maps, contacts transfer, all made by Nokia and all free. So that's a nice little touch there. And of course you can go into apps here. And they've done a better job over recent Windows Phone versions of separating apps and music out. So we go to Twitter, for example, and let's go to Twitter and see apps and games. So you can see the apps here that are related to Twitter have some sort of affiliation. Then I can go over to music and see the actual music that has an affiliation to Twitter, and then podcasts as well. So a much better job of organizing as opposed to what it initially was, where it was just kind of a groupage of a mess, you know, if you will, with apps and games and music and podcasts all kind of sorted into one. So using, let's go to Airhorn. Everybody likes an Airhorn. So let's go to Airhorn Ultimate Free here. Star rating of 2.5. You can see the description, of course. You can see the reviews. And then you can see the screenshots over here. So as opposed to being all on one display, kind of like Android is with the recent market changes, you get some nice menu sections here like details, reviews, and screenshots, so you can scroll back and forth between. Now I'll tell you, at first I was kind of turned off to the way the text displayed on the screen, but now I can see it's really functional and easy to navigate, and I've been pretty impressed with it. So in a nutshell, that's the marketplace. And let's also take a look at email. We'll go into Hotmail here to the Old Man McTweety account, and you can see Windows Phone, say hello to your Windows Phone. I can easily focus in, zoom in and out there, and then I can download the pictures if I want to, and it'll bring in the Windows Phone pictures. Now down here I've got the option to go between messages, forward and back. I can trash, and of course I can respond, and then I can go into the main menu and hit mark as unread or move. Now another feature of Mango, you can unify inboxes. So if you're like me, you have 5 or 6 inboxes that you check on a regular basis. You can put those in one unified mailbox and then have it as one of the tiles in the home screen, making it much easier to kind of organize your mail as opposed to having several different mail folders, if you will, on Windows phones. That's a pretty nice touch. as well. And of course, you get Zoom for music and videos, so you can use your Zoom Pass and stuff like that pretty easily with Windows Phone. And then you get Telenav and then T-Mobile TV, which actually in part 1 I forgot to say Telenav is a T-Mobile installed application, but I can press and hold and uninstall that. Looks like I can uninstall T-Mobile TV as well, which is a nice touch. It's nice to give the users the option to get rid of those if they so desire. And then of course T-Mobile TV comes pre-installed. So let's take a look at that on T-Mobile's HSPA Plus 14.4 megabits per second connectivity. So we'll wait for it to load up, and let's see what we've got here. Terms and conditions, accept, and we'll load into TV here, and we'll start the trial. We're going to do a 30-day free trial here, and you can see live TV, on demand, and then more, and I believe it's $10 a month after the free trial if I remember right, but we'll see. Content Heart of More, yeah, let's go to this one. We're going to purchase that. Yeah, we'll purchase T-Mobile TV Prime. So yeah, I think it's $10 for the higher tier after the 30-day trial. So let's see MSNBC here, and we'll roll into it. But you can see how easy it is to access and kind of subscribe to that without realizing it. So pretty quick and easy. So here we go, and I can turn the volume up and see if anything's playing. I don't know that anything's playing. And of course, I can easily change ring and vibrate, and more from the screen, which is a nice touch. It's a little bit quiet, taking a little bit of time to buffer. But before we tune out, let's take a look at bandwidth here, because again, this is an HSPA Plus 14.4 megabits per second device. So we'll get a rough speed test here and just kind of compare. So, all in all, the Lumia 710, in my opinion, when you're comparing mid-range devices to mid-range devices, the call quality is good. The 1,300 milliamp hour battery is pretty decent for a device this size. With a smaller display like this, you're going to make it with moderate use about 3/4 of the way through the day, at least in my testing, before the device started to power down. So calling, texting, emailing, you may need to charge it a second time to make it through a full day. But all in all, it's a decent device. So for $50, you're comparing this to like a $50 Android device, which probably has an 800 megahertz processor and a 3.2-inch display, 5 megapixel camera, and it may have an older version of Android. I really like the consistency of Windows Phone. Whether it's a mid-range device, a high-end device, or something in between, you get a nice, pretty consistent user experience across the board. I mean, I don't see this device being any faster or slower than the Titan, or than the Radar 4G, or than any of the other Windows phones that have come out with Mango in the recent months. So pretty impressed with it. The 710, again, it's not going to be the highest end device on T-Mobile. A lot of people are still going to like the Amaze and the Galaxy S2. But for the price point, you really can't beat it. And when you're comparing mid-range devices to mid-range devices, it's the way to go. 1.42 megabits per second on the download. So just as a rough test, that's what we got right there. I've definitely seen it much higher in between the 2 and 4 megabit per second range. So much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the Lumia 710. Keep it locked on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Head over there, like us. We're always doing cool content on our Facebook page. And follow me on Twitter as well. Let me know what you think of this device at Twitter.com/PhoneDog_Aaron. And on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching. More coverage to come on this little mid-range Nokia device. And keep it locked on the site for CES coverage, because you never know what's up Nokia's sleeve next week. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.